Alrighty, let's go. Welcome back into the Skooshi Sports podcast and your global sports roundup, where I bring you your latest sporting news from around the globe in the last week. We're into the second month of the year. We're just in the midst of footy season around the corner, but we've had plenty of sport happen across the last month, across the last week, and there's plenty of sport to come up as well. Not just along with footy season as well. Plenty come. We've got the Winter Olympics starting this weekend. We've got the T20 World Cup starting this weekend as well. Super Rugby kicks off not this weekend, but the weekend after. Preseason trials in NRL is all happening, and I am here, Skooshi Sports, to bring you all the latest sporting news from around the globe here. I have just a little PSA, got a sort of a different format for you in this one here. Usually I just talk straight to a camera. I've got my notes next to me on a laptop here. Gonna have a bit of a different format, similar to how I did the trade room the other day. So let me know what you think in the comments about the format. If you like having a bit more text on the screen, a bit more visual to sort of look out. If you are listening, make sure you actually give this one a watch and let me know what you think. But if you did like the content, make sure you give it a like and a big subscribe to the channel. All my links are in my socials down below as well. Make sure you go check out my NRL season team previews. I brought them all out. All 17 are done for the season now. Storm and Eels came out today when I'm recording, so yesterday when you're listening to this. And then obviously we've got the trade room that comes out every single week as well. My Supercoach previews, team reveals, all the latest news that's happening while we're getting into footy season. But this episode here in your global sports roundup, we're going to talk about our women's player of the week. You can probably pick it. It's pretty obvious, this one there. Then we're going to cross over while we're there into a bit of tennis, talk about a bit of the cricket that's going on as well, cross over to a bit of golf, and then our American sports as well. Now, I would usually talk about NFL. However, I will have the Red Zone Report Super Bowl edition, maybe coming out probably tomorrow or the day after, for you, giving me my Super Bowl preview along with my Super Bowl picks, prop picks. Let's go a couple little novelty picks in there as well, and just a general preview of the game there. So that'll be there all for you. Obviously, I reviewed the championship games last week in my episode, so if you want my review, make sure to go check that out there. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started into our Women's Player of the Week. And you could probably pick it. First time we've ever had a double Women's Player of the Week for the Skooshi Sports podcast. I try and mix it up every single week, but I couldn't go past her. She was just incredible the last 2 weeks, and that is going to be Alina Rybakina here. She has won the Australian Open. Unbelievably impressive performance over the course of the 2 weeks here, only dropping just the one set as well across the 2 weeks, across 7 matches, which is just mightily impressive. The first Kazakh, the first Kazakh player ever, men's or women's, to win the Australian Open singles title, which I just find unbelievably impressive. She defeated Aryna Sabalenka, the world number 1, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 in the final there for her second Grand Slam. First one was Wimbledon in 2022. And she did not do it the easy way. As her first drop set in the whole tournament was in this final here, which I find just unbelievably impressive. Like, so freaking good, right? To drop one set in the whole tournament. And she came out all guns blazing. She broke Sabalenka's serve to start off the match there. And she held that throughout the whole set there, winning the first set 6-4. Had a little bit of a stumble in the second set. Credit to Sabalenka. She bounced back there. She won the second set 6-4. But Sabalenka got the early break in the third set and then held her serve. So she was down 3-love in the third set in the championship set for the Australian Open. And she pulled her way back. She held her serve to get back to 3-1. Then she broke Sabalenka's serve straight away to get back to 3-2. And then held her serve again to get it back to 3-all. And then the ability to, I think she broke again to get it to 4-3 and 5-3. Sabalenka went to 5-4. And then she served it out for the championship. Serving an ace for the Australian Open title. They're just unbelievable. 3 out of 6 on break points, going at 50%. And I don't think this gets talked about enough. That is a 10th win in a row against top 10 players. It is just unbelievable how good she steps up to the plate when it comes to playing top 10 players in the world. She was 5th seed going to this tournament. She will now be the 3rd ranked player going now into the women's tennis singles, which I find mightily impressive. You see her scores there on the right, her road to the final, unbelievable. Did not drop a set. 4.15 million Australian dollars prize money to go along with that. Unbelievable performance by Alina Rybakina. Gets my Women's Player of the Week. All right, let's continue on into a bit of tennis while we are there. And let's talk about the men's side, because the men's side was, I thought, I brought out a reel actually during the week. And it was on the Wednesday, I think it was just before the just after sort of the quarterfinals or the quarterfinals being played. And I came out and said, I think this Australian Open has actually been a bit tame. You know, a lot of the sort of the favourite to winning, and not just in 5-setters, it was generally in straight sets or like 4-setters, the rare 4-setter. I think on Rod Laver throughout a lot of the tournaments, particularly the fourth round and quarterfinals, where I think we had maybe like 1 or 2 matches that actually went more than 3 sets on Rod Laver, that main court there, which is not generally what you want for a Grand Slam, right? And then holy mother frickin' dooly, the tennis gods heard me. Some of these blokes heard me, because when it came to the semi-final day, where it was Carlos Alcaraz against Alexander Zverev and Jannik Sinner against Novak Djokovic, oh my goodness gracious me. It was the most incredible day of tennis I have probably ever seen in my life. I don't think that's hyperbole at all. It started off in the afternoon. Alcaraz and Zverev in a match that looked like it was all Alcaraz's there. You can see the scores in the bottom right. Start off winning the first 2 sets, 6-4, 7-6 there. And then, honestly, nearly like he was cruising, holding serve in the third set there, got to 4-all. Then he suffered a bit of cramping there. Whether it was cramping or a groin injury, it looked like cramping there, and that's what it was. But this cramp was starting to affect him. He managed to hold serve, get it to a tiebreaker. He could barely even move on the court. He was trying to play these ridiculous shots. Zverev ended up taking the third set there, 7-6. Brought to a fourth. Alcaraz was still struggling early on. Managed to try and hold serve. I think Zverev broke him early on in the fourth. And then the ability for Alcaraz to break him again in that fourth, to break back, was unbelievable. Again, this was turning out to be an absolute classic match. Zverev wins the tiebreak in the fourth set to take it to a fifth. And Alcaraz finally gets a little bit better. The pickle juice, man. The bloody pickle juice does absolute wonders to these guys. And, oh my goodness, the tennis being played in this fifth set, I was just like shell-shocked. And 5 hours and 27 minutes later, Carlos Alcaraz defeats Alex Zverev 6-4, 7-6, 6-7, 6-7, 7-5. Oh my goodness gracious me. And then we weren't done. We had Jannik Sinner versus Djokovic that night. It was meant to start 7:30 local time. Did not start until 9:30 p.m. local time. That's how long the previous match went for. And honestly, I looked at this match and I was like, Jannik Sinner, defending back-to-back Australian Open champion. Djokovic, 38 years old. I just think he'll probably have a bit tired legs. I didn't really think about Djokovic had hardly spent much time in the court. But I looked at that as he played Musetti, the number 5 seed in the quarterfinal, right? And Musetti was 2 sets love up against Djokovic and got an unfortunate injury, tore a muscle, and had to retire. Very, very fortunate for Novak there. So Novak had hardly spent much time in the court. He was actually lucky to be there, though, in the semi-final. He was going to lose that game. And Jannik Sinner, I believe, won the first set. Djokovic comes back, wins the second. Jannik Sinner comes back and wins the third set. Djokovic comes back and wins the fourth set and the fifth set. Another 5 set, 10 sets of men's semi-final tennis in one day. It was incredible. And Djokovic gets the win in 5 sets, finishing at 1:30 a.m. local time in Melbourne, over 4 hours. Knocks Jannik Sinner out of the tournament, the defending back-to-back Australian Open champion. It was just unbelievable scenes to watch. Unbelievable. I could not believe what I was witnessing. That set up one of the all-time history-making Grand Slam finals, pretty much that will ever be in existence of tennis, right? Carlos Alcaraz against Novak Djokovic. You've got the 10-time 24 Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic coming up against Carlos Alcaraz, the world number one seed, going for the career Grand Slam, the youngest ever to try and achieve the career Grand Slam. Djokovic going for 25 Grand Slam, which would be an all-time record against men's and women's. So no matter what the result here, we had history waiting for us. Djokovic going for 11 Australian Open titles, which is just bonkers to think about. It's just insane to think about. And what a match it was. Carlos Alcaraz loses the first set 6-2, and just the young legs, I reckon, kicked in and got Djokovic in the last 3 sets. Carlos Alcaraz wins the Australian Open against Djokovic in the final 2-6, 6-2, 6-3, 7-5 in the final there. Becomes the youngest ever male to complete the career Grand Slam at age 22 years old. I'm 26. That was 4 years. Imagine me 4 years ago winning the career Grand Slam in tennis. It's just like unfathomable to think about. It's just craziness. These 6 men to complete the career Grand Slam, as I said, the youngest. The goes along with Rod Laver, Andre Agassi, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic. 7th Grand Slam title at age 22. He has done 2 of the French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open now. Now he's got an Australian Open there. If he wins the Australian Open next year, he will have done the double career Grand Slam at age 23. It's just like, what the hell? What the hell? It is crazy. He's made 8 Grand Slam finals now. He's won 7 of them. And again, taking home the 4.15 million Australian prize money. He hardly dropped a set. He dropped 3 sets all tournament there. Did not drop a set until he faced Zverev there in that semi-final. Just unbelievable. So just to give you context, Alcaraz is 22, completed the Grand Slam. Nadal was 24. Federer was 27. Novak was 29, I think he was. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like, tournament, absolutely incredible 2 weeks. Like, I talked about how tame it was on that Wednesday, and we got like 2 of the best matches I've pretty much ever seen at such a high level there. Cannot believe it. Massive congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz winning the career Grand Slam, age 22 years old. Will be going back to the French Open to defend his title now for a 3rd title, 8th Grand Slam title. I think he will be 23 by the time he gets to the French Open. But oh my goodness me, we just got absolutely treated in those last few days there. All right, that's enough of me about the tennis. Let's cross over to a bit of cricket chat. So, oh, sorry, not cricket chat. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Going to cross over a bit of golf chat. All the sports are mixed up. My bad. Going to cross over to a bit of golf chat here. Had the Farmers Insurance Open just over the cross of the last week. Played a very famous course, Torrey Pines. Hosted a couple US Opens now. Hosted very famously. What pretty much is like, I guess the first memory for me, I guess, watching major golf was Tiger Woods holding that putt on the last hole at Torrey Pines in the US Open 2008 to get into a playoff against Rocco Mediate on a broken freaking leg. Yes, he had a torn ACL. He could barely swing the club, and it was unbelievable what he did. It was just like, for me, I was 8 years old watching that, and that just completely, like, for me, obviously a grown up with dad, like playing a lot of golf. He got me into golf, but that was just a moment that is just so set in stone for me that really just boosted the game of golf for me and my love for it, and why I actually ended up playing it and why I tried to pursue it as actually a profession. Fun fact for you out there. And absolutely love this course. Every time it just gives me fond memories of literally that moment there. And Justin Rose, back to world number 3 in the world, baby. Absolutely tore the field apart here, shooting 23 under for the week. 23 under. You know how absurd that is at a course like Torrey Pines there? We've got the north and south course there. Won by 7 shots. And you've got the leaderboard there on the right. Those 3 guys, like Pearson Coody, Siwoo Kim, and Ryo Hatsutune, 16 under. They must be walking away thinking, holy shit, we had a great week and we got dusted by 7. Unbelievable. It's his biggest ever win at that level as well in professional golf. 7 shots, as I said. First wire-to-wire winner at Torrey Pines in 71 years there as well. Shot 62, 65, 68, and 70. Shoot 23 under. opening up with 10 under and then following up with 7 under. Do you know how freaking hard that is? Like, it's just unbelievable. 17 under after 2 rounds. It's just like mind-boggling. I think he only had a 4-shot lead after 2 rounds, then a 6-shot lead in the final round, and then even finished with a 7-shot lead to finish it off. Unbelievable. As I said, first wire-to-wire win at Torrey Pines there in 71 years. He actually broke Tiger Woods' scoring record at Torrey Pines by 1 shot as well, which he actually spoke about in an interview, in his match-winning interview after, or match-winning, like round-winning interview after. He actually said he knew about the 22 under, and that he was really focused on actually finishing on 23 under to beat Tiger. And he actually said, apologies T-Dub, and he's after he won there. So good on it. Always kind of love to see like people do break a Tiger record every now and then. Just like Tiger holds so many records, but like they've got to get broken at some stage. But it takes a freaking good effort to go and break those. So back to world number 3, 26 birdies for the week there. Unbelievable. These 4 stats that you see at the bottom if you are watching, all ranked number 1 for the field. 26 birdies, 5 bogeys. 5 bogeys across 4 rounds is unbelievable golf. Had an eagle in there as well. 59 out of 72 greens regulation. He had 59 putts for birdie the whole week, which I find absurd. Only missed 13 greens, which is 3 around on average. And strokes, SG total, he said, that's strokes gained total. So that's how many strokes he gained against the field for the whole week. And that was 12.2. He gained 12 shots on the field on average for the whole week. That's 3 shots a round. Unbelievably good golf. To think he was 3 shots better on average a round, better than an average, like a PGA Tour pro that was playing that event. It's absurd to think about. Absolutely absurd to think about. So winning by 7, 3 tied there at tied second, and then 2 there at tied 5th there at 15 under there. I think that's his 13th win there on like the PGA Tour. Obviously won the US Open as well. To think he's 45 years old and still achieving this crap is just unbelievable to think about. So massive shout out to Justin Rose winning the Farmers Insurance Open there. We've got an elite tournament this week. We've got the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And if you're not really into golf, that sort of thing, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, played in Arizona, most famous for a 16th hole, a par 3, and it's literally a stadium built around it. You could probably fit, like, is it 50,000, I reckon, there around that stadium? It seems to get bigger and bigger every year. And these guys go absolutely nuts, the crowd, whether the player hits a good shot, whether they hit a bad shot. If they hit a good shot, they'll go nuts. If they hit a bad shot, they'll actually boo the player. All types of noise. It's such a part. It's literally the party hole. And if there's a hole-in-one there, oh my goodness gracious me. Chaos. Absolute chaos happens. It is unbelievable. I forget who the last guy was to actually hit a hole-in-one there. His name's just not coming to mind, but go look it up. Holes and ones at Waste Management there. Tiger Woods famously hit one probably over 20 years ago now. As soon as he hit the ball, crowd goes freaking nuts, and then there's just beer flying everywhere. Everywhere, just beer flying everywhere. Crazy scenes. You absolutely love to see it though. So yeah, massive shout out to Justin Rose, wins the Farmers Insurance Open. Brooks Koepka, first event back on the PGA Tour. Seemed to love it. Got a lot of respect out there, which is really cool. Patrick Reed is now back on the PGA Tour as well. I believe he plays his first event maybe this week or next week. I'm not quite sure with Patrick Reed. But yeah, back on the PGA Tour. Who was probably one golfer I did not expect to come back from LIV to go back on the PGA Tour there. And it's just interesting to see where the LIV is sort of ending up. Like, does Bryson end up back on the PGA Tour? I assume LIV has to throw the absolute checkbook at him to try and keep him there at LIV. Obviously you got a few Aussies there now. I know like a pretty good mate of mine, Elvis Smiley, played junior golf with him. He's now on LIV Tour, which is crazy to think about. So a lot happening in the golfing world there, but interesting to see like a couple players now come back onto the PGA Tour. Does look like Kevin Na actually may be back on the PGA Tour as well. All right, let's chat on a bit of cricket. So the latest cricketing news, we've got the T20 World Cup starting this weekend actually in India and Sri Lanka. So India are looking very fucking good, man. They are looking unbelievable. I think they're very short favorites as well. I think they're about sort of I've got the $2.30 to go win the World Cup. Next is Aussie at $4.50. 230 to win a World Cup before it's even started is absolutely absurd. But you look at the scores there on the right. I spoke about last week as well. New Zealand just played India in a T20 series, 5 games in India as well. Really good warm-up matches before the World Cup. And essentially, India, apart from that fourth T20, have bashed easily over 200 runs every T20, easily going over 10 and over. And you look at the fifth one there. That is not a typo. They batted first in the fifth T20, 5 for 271 runs. One of the batsmen got literally 103 off like 40 balls. Some absurd hitting. That's nearly 14 runs and over that they're going at. Unbelievable hitting. Unbelievable. So they're in very, very good touch heading into this World Cup starting this weekend. I believe their first match is against, who is it against? I actually forget. But it says start Saturday afternoon. New Zealand's first game is against Afghanistan, which is Sunday afternoon. And then Aussie don't play their first game until actually next Wednesday. So still a week away. They play that against Ireland. They have confirmed their squad though, which I just find this unbelievably surprising. Steve Smith is not in the World Cup squad, considering how bloody good he hit it near the end of the Big Bash there. I just thought they had to get him in there somewhere. But you still look at the squad. It's still absolute loaded, right? You got Mitch Marsh, Travis Head, Cam Green, Josh Inglis, Tim David, who's under an injury cloud, I thought still. Matt Renshaw, Glenn Maxwell, who has been awful form in the Big Bash. Marcus Stoinis, Ben Dwarshuis, Nathan Ellis, Josh Hazelwood, Cooper Connolly, Adam Zampa, Matthew Kuhneman, and Xavier Bartlett there. So I would probably, if I was to take a pick at who wouldn't make that 11 there, I'd probably be saying Dwarshuis. I would probably say Kuhneman. I'd say Zampa would be the bowler. I think you got Connolly there. I'd say you'll have Marsh, Head, Green, probably Inglis there as your wicketkeeper. Probably not Renshaw. You got to probably have Stoinis in there. Yeah, interesting. I think you're definitely going to have a Bartlett there, but the Aussies team looks pretty good, man. Like, there's no reason why they can't go and win the World Cup again. But, man, India is just looking so freaking good. That's why there's such short odds there at the moment. At $2.30. All right, let's cross over into our American sports. As I said, won't be speaking about NFL. Little quick drink break spot, like cheers, Bundaberg there. All right, NBA little weekly recap. So, looking very tight at the moment in regards to the NBA standings at the moment. We've got just 3 losses separating the Knicks, who are in second in the conference at the moment, compared to the Sixers in the East. And we've got 4 losses separating the Spurs, who are second as well, from the Suns, who I believe are 7th in the West. So very, very tight in the conferences at the moment. And just like every week, I give you my team of the week. From the last week, I give you my shit team of the week, my loser of the week. So team of the week, the Charlotte Hornets, baby. They are 4-0. They've won 7 games in a row. They're absolutely flying. They're not even in a play-in spot at the moment, but they've won 7 games in a row. Our loser of the week, the Memphis Grizzlies, man. What are they going to do with Ja Morant? Giannis still has not been traded, although he has said he is wanting a trade. He wants someone to go. I have no idea where it'll be. I keep saying the Knicks. I have not heard a peep about the Knicks, though. People are saying Golden State. I don't think Golden State's in an actual position to go and win it this season, which maybe doesn't make sense to me. I think he'd go to a team that's actually in a position to go and win. So just really sort of strange that I've sort of heard rumors that he might actually be going elsewhere, which I do find unusual. Spoke about Memphis Grizzlies. I think Ja Morant probably actually gets traded. Speaking of Giannis, I do think he actually does get traded there. They've got 0-4 in their last week, although they just snapped a 6-game losing streak today against the Timberwolves. A very good win at home. Timberwolves are a pretty solid team. They frustrate me though, man. They're freaking inconsistent. Anthony Edwards has hit 39 points today. He has the ability to be so good. Team still loses, but then they can go and beat OKC. They beat OKC literally last week. I just can't pick it. So, if I've done this correctly, I said new format. Hopefully, if I switch this now, my screen will be on there now. So, I just got to reset this because NHL is coming up at the moment there. But, right, now that I've got it here, you'll see me at the top right corner there. Hello. All right, cool. So I've got the NBA standings here. So we've got the Detroit Pistons in the East, still 5.5 games ahead of the Knicks there. As I said, looking very tight there, as we spoke about in the East, from the Knicks through to Boston, Raptors, the Cavs, and the Sixers there. Just 3 games setting them apart there. And Detroit's number 1 power ranked team at the moment. They're 8-2 in the last 10, as you can see there on the right there, looking very, very good in form at the moment. And I really can't see them probably losing that number 1 seed, honestly, in the East. They're just looking rock solid, man. Kate Cunningham is looking better and better as the season goes by. The Knicks, they've won 6 in a row, but my goodness me, like, they were a very frustrating team to watch. As you can see, it's 6-4 in the last 10, and they've won 6 in a row. So they lost at least 4 games in a row before that. They were in a huge slump. I think I spoke about that last week. Boston's still looking pretty good, man, despite Jason Tatum not being play a game this season. And then, absolute shocker. We see this every single season. I spoke about last week. The Heat, the Bulls, and the Hawks in that playing spot. The Magic is hanging around there, but these 4 teams just seem to hang around the play-in spots every single year. Not finishing above, not finishing below, just always hang there. And as I said, we've got the Charlotte Hornets there, baby. Won 7 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. They are playing incredible basketball at the moment there as a team. Really good young team there as well. You got Concaneppel. You've got, who is the guy that I am not thinking about? I think it's not Brandon Smith, but LaMelo's playing really well. I can't see them dropping further than 12th. I think, like, you look at the bottom of, like, the East here at the moment, where it's like between the Bucks, Nets, the Wizards, and the Pacers. These teams are gone, man. Like, these teams aren't going to make a run. Bucks are training Giannis. Brooklyn's absolutely stink. 2-8 in the last 10, as you can see there. They're looking pretty disastrous. So, Charlotte, baby, only 1 spot off the play-in, and it would just be unusual to actually see them in that play-in spot ahead of Atlanta, because we always see Atlanta in the play-in there. Let's have a look at the Western Conference, a little update on the standings. By the way, if you're watching this, I'm so freaking happy this is working on the program that I use. Literally, absolutely stoked. Looking at the West, still got OKC up the top there, although they're down to number 2 in the power rankings because we've got Detroit at the number 1 role there at the moment, but we've still got OKC there in number 1, still 5.5 games ahead of the Spurs in second. But as we spoke about, you look at the loss column here, Spurs only have 4 fewer losses than the Suns at the moment, who are sitting in 7th. So very congested here in this middle sort of range between Spurs, Nuggets, Rockets, Timberwolves, Lakers, and the Suns. And the Lakers have really kind of fallen off a cliff recently at the moment. I don't know if Austin Reeves is back, but Luka's been a bit out of touch. Like, they just can't. Luka and LeBron don't really seem to actually combine that well. It's really kind of odd. The team seems to go well when one of them is actually on the bench and the other one's on the court. Really, really weird though. Something that it's really something that the name of the coach is just not really hitting to me right now. That the Lakers coach really does have to try and figure out there. They'll make the playoffs, no doubt. They'll try and want to make that play in because Phoenix looking pretty good. They're 6-4 in the last 10, but they were looking darn good before that. They had a really good win. I think they actually beat Detroit. They smashed Detroit. I think it was end of last week there. What I will say though, honestly, I'd probably say the top 10 teams at the moment are likely to probably either be in the playoffs or play in. Grizzlies, I don't think they're going to make it. I think they're going to trade away Ja Morant. Dallas is gone despite Cooper Flagg putting up 49 points the other day, most by a rookie ever in a rookie season. Jazz and Pelicans and Kings are gone. Jazz are 1-9 in the last 10. Ugh, lost 6 in a row. My best mate is a Jazz fan. He will not be happy about that. But if I was to look at the playoff sort of structure right now, we got Nikola Jokic. He had his been back for a couple games now. He's back from that 4 to 5 week injury that we spoke about 4 to 5 weeks ago. Had that knee injury there. I don't know if I can see the Rockets doing anything. Lakers probably not either. They got to sort out that combo there. The Wolves are anything. They're very sneaky, and so are the Phoenix Suns. I assume they would probably make that plan to finish like a 7th seed there. They're sneaky, man. They'll probably at this stage come up against San Antonio, which would be a very good 4-game series. I would not give that to San Antonio at all. I would say OKC would beat Golden State quite comfortably. I would say Denver would beat the Lakers. This would be an interesting matchup. Rockets against the Wolves. Rockets having home court. Wolves could be anything in the playoffs, man. They could literally make the finals and probably choke it, or they could lose in the first round. I don't feel like there's an in-between for the Wolves that you'd be like, oh yeah, they played well, but they still lost. It's either played well and they're going to smash it, or played crap and they're going to get absolutely dusted. They're freaking inconsistent, and it's just like, yeah, no real in-between, I guess, for the Timberwolves here. My screen has just gone again. Cool. Okay, we're all set and good. All right, so there is your NBA recap there. Obviously, a little weekly recap. Showed you the standings there, but looking very tight in the East and the West in the moment at the top there. But it feels like a lot of the play-in and playoff spots are pretty much all sorted. Let's cross over to a bit of the NHL. So flick the screen here back to our weekly recap of the NHL. So the NHL does pause on end of Friday, so Saturday morning here. So after the Friday matches in America, the NHL does pause for the Winter Olympics for literally 3 weeks. Doesn't resume till about the 25th or 26th of February there. We did have the Stadium Series game. We had that yesterday or 2 days ago when you're listening to this. Stadium Series. So Tampa Bay Lightning hosted the Boston Bruins at the stadium where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFL football team, actually play. They set up a rink in the middle of it and still have the crowd sitting in like the actual seats around. So when you think about it, it's literally correct. They're freaking far away from the rink there. But it's an outdoor game. It's really cool to actually go watch on TV as well. And the Boston Bruins, man, they're up 5-1 in this game against the ladder leading Eastern Conference Tampa Bay Lightning. And Tampa Bay came back. Couple goals in the power play there. They got gifted a power play, 2 goals, brought it back to 5-3. And they brought it back to 5-all just before the end of the third period and won it in a shootout there. Incredible win, incredible game. I think that's the most tied for the most goals in a stadium game, like outdoor game. We even had a goalie fight between Andre Vasilevsky and Jeremy Swayman, the goalies in that game there, which I thought was freaking epic as well. You absolutely love to see it there. But yeah, Tampa Bay, really good win against Boston there. Same for the NBA. Our team of the week and our loser for the week. Our team for the week are the Senators, Ottawa Senators at 3-0. They are 6-4 in the last 10. Just starting to have some really good wins. Had a really good win against the Pittsburgh Penguins today as well. Winning that one 3-2. And our loser of the week, this is really unusual, man. The Vegas Golden Knights, tipped as a Stanley Cup favorite near the start of the year. You can actually see them there on the right. Their odds are at 950 there to actually go and win the Stanley Cup. They're still the 4th favorite to go win it all. 0-4 streak, 4 games lost in a row, 3, 5, and 2 in the last 10. So that 2 that you see on the end is 2 essentially like overtime losses. So that's 3 and 7 in the last 10 that they're going at. They are absolutely nowhere at the moment. It's crazy to think what is happening to Vegas. They're absolutely loaded in that roster there as well. They've got Mitch Marner there, Jack Eichel. They've got freaking everyone. Pavel. They've loaded as well. They should not be losing 4 games in a row, 3 and 7 in the last 10. Same deal though. Hopefully this works. Going to bring up the standings for Sweet. For the NHL here. So let's have a look. I'm going to go from starting on the East here. So we've got the Tampa Bay Lightning. We just spoke about them at the top, beating the Boston Bruins yesterday when they recorded this. So 8-1-1 in their last 10. They are playing incredible at the moment. Won 3 in a row. They were definitely a pick for Team of the Week for sure. And what I find, this is so surprising, Detroit Red Wings, just 1 win off the pace in the East there. You've obviously got the Hurricanes there leading the Metro there. It's tied with the same amount of points as the Tampa Bay Lightning there. Tampa Bay Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes, if we have a look at the odds there, the Hurricanes are $7.50 and the Lightning are $6. So these are 2 teams that are looking very, very good heading into the Stanley Cup playoffs 100%. This is so cool to see, man. The Buffalo Sabres are 69 points, just only 5 points off the top of the East. This is a team nearly halfway through the season, fired their GM, and has gone on an absolute killer run. absolute killer run. You absolutely just love to see it. It is unbelievable. Even what Boston's doing, like despite that loss, so many like teams there at the moment are just doing really like a lot better than expectation. Even Pittsburgh's doing really well. 7-1-2 in the last 10, and they even lost today against Ottawa as well. It's really weird to see Florida last in the Atlantic. Honestly, it's really weird. Let's have a look quickly at the sort of the wild card spot there now. Are they far off the sort of playoff spot? They're 9 points off a playoff spot, man. The back-to-back Stanley Cup champions could potentially be missing the playoffs. But if you go look at what I just put before, that odds are still $15 to go win it all. So they're in massive need as this Olympic break. There's still obviously a lot of games to be played. There's still 25 games left to be played essentially after this Olympic break. So a lot of games for Florida to make up, but they're really, really struggling. They've lost 4 in a row. Before that, they had won 6 in a row, and won 4 in a row. Sorry, they've just gone on a bit of a downward sort of spiral at the moment, which is really unusual to see. Maybe it's a hangover. I'm not quite sure, but they've really got to pick up their shit. Otherwise, they're definitely in deep strife of missing the playoffs. Definitely, which you kind of don't want to see. Not sure why the screen seems to like kind of reset, but let's have a look at the West and still got the Avalanche. Despite the Avalanche, they've been playing like shit. Being sort of in cruise control, playing pretty bad. They got shut out at home today against the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit winning 2-0 that one there. You can see there, essentially 3-7 in the last 10 matches there. Oh my goodness, I've just moved my screen there. Essentially 3-10 there in the last 10 matches there. Losing at home today, they now only have a 7-point lead in the league, which sounds astronomical, but they had over a 10-point lead recently. They've now lost 3 games in regulation at home. That was only 1 like a week ago, or even 0 about a week ago. So they've lost a few games at home now, which is really odd. I'm not sure if they're just like been on the high where they're not on the high anymore. Really sort of weird to see. You still got the Wild, you still got the Stars. Stars beat the Jets in overtime today. You see the Jets down here, who were a playoff team last year, and I speak about every week, got the best goalie in the league as well, in my opinion. And they're just absolutely nowhere at the moment. But really good to see, like Utah still hanging in, Anaheim still hanging in there, Kraken still hanging in. These sort of teams weren't really predicted preseason to make the playoffs. But you got these teams like Vegas still top of the Pacific, despite that losing streak of 5 games there. Oilers still there, just hanging in there, 1 point behind. These teams will make the playoffs here. Not obviously, but when it does come to playoffs, like the top 3 teams in the division automatically make it, and then you've got your wild card down here. And this is, by then you've got your 8 teams, and then it's seeded by points there. So you're gonna have like these top 3 teams. Like Avalanche, Wild, and Stars, they're going to finish number 1, 2, and 3 seed in the West. So they'll actually get home advantage. Then one of these 2 teams will get home advantage as well in the first round. If we were to look at how the East is looking, you've got like Tampa Bay and Carolina, Detroit, and Montreal will be hosting playoff, get the playoff advantage. And then you've got Pittsburgh, New York Islanders, Sabres, and the Bruins there. Because if you even look at this, like the Sabres and the Bruins are actually in the Atlantic here. They've got more points than what Pittsburgh and the Islanders actually have there. So it just shows how sort of different the divisions can be. But the divisions are super, super tight, man. Like if I do show you the divisions here, you'll see that's like there's only sort of 3 wins. You get 2 points for a win. There's only 3 wins between the Lightning and the Bruins, 1st and 5th place. Hurricanes have got a bit of a lead in the Metro there. And if we look at the West that's pretty split apart, isn't it? Like the top 3 and then there's the rest there. But if you look at like the Pacific here, the Pacific is where it's really interesting. So from 1st to 6th in the division, from Vegas to San Jose is only 3 wins. So anything can happen after this Olympic break. I have no idea how teams will come back after the Olympic break at all. As I said, they go off for 3 weeks, play for their countries, Canada, USA, like Russia, all that types of crap. There's going to be pretty wicked to actually watch. I'm actually really looking forward to watching. I think it should be a really good watch, but Going to be really interesting, as I said, to see how these teams bounce back, particularly Florida. All my eyes are on Florida at the moment, who I just cannot believe how bad they are playing at the moment. They had a 2-0 lead against the Sabres today at home and lost that one 5-3. Very disappointing loss there. But yeah, very interesting to see where this all actually ends up. But that will do it for me, guys. That has been the Global Sports Roundup. Let's go back to my screen here. Here we go. So glad this all worked, pretty much most of it there. That'll do it for me. That's been the Global Sports Roundup, giving you a global sports weekly review. Tennis, the Australian Open. Massive congratulations to Elena Rybakina, again, Women's Player of the Week, winning the Australian Open Women's Singles title, her second Grand Slam, defeating Sabalenka in the final there. Reviewed Carlos Alcaraz's massive career Grand Slam run. Congratulations to him. Had a look at the golf, Justin Rose winning, the cricket with the World Cup coming up. Then we touched on the American sports, so NBA and NHL. Remember to go check out in the next couple of days. I'll have the Red Zone Report, my Super Bowl preview for you, baby. I'll give you a deep analysis into what I think about that game. Giving you bets, line, total, props, of course. Let's chuck in a couple novelty bets in there as well. But that'll do it for me. Make sure you go check out the NLC team season previews as well and my Super Coach series, The Trade Room. But thank you so much for watching, and cheers.